Let's start with the news of the day, Kelvin. Let's start with there. So here's one of my issues I have with people. It's one thing to I'm big on reporting, trying to figure out, what's happened. And if you have insight to something, I think it's good. But the narrative yesterday was Aaron Rodgers, had Robert Saleh fired because he didn't want Nathaniel Hackett demoted. Would you agree with that that was an overriding conversation that was out there?
I wouldn't exactly use the term had as much as he didn't stop it. He didn't jump in the middle of it. He didn't say, this is my guy, I'm sticking up for. More so, hey,
no, but
he got to go.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Hackett part. That that Hackett was going to get demoted.
Oh, I got you.
The owner called up and said, this is what the story that I heard other people repeating.
Right. Then in that case, if you're talking about that end of it, I thought we were talking more solid.
No. I'm talking about the Hackett, that he saved his guy Hackett from being demoted and told the owner to get rid of Robert Saleh because he wanted to demote Hackett. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers won 2 MVPs with Hackett, but offensively they got issues. This is why I'm saying what the Jets, to me, are doing is trying to save the season. When you're not playing well, nobody's safe. Aaron Rodgers can't save an offensive coordinator where you're not scoring and you're not moving the football and you're not producing. Nobody can go in and say, what do they say? The NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah, they do say that.
Because it's a production-based business. I say it all the time on this show. Sports has a short menu, Kelvin. Wins and losses. You can sit here and talk about, if we only had this and if that ball didn't go through his legs. And all that sounds good and nice. It's about production. Did you win? Did you lose? If you didn't win enough, guess what? You're going to be out of a job. It's just that simple. Nobody is saved unless you have a track record, unless you got equity because you won 2 Super Bowls before, or you did. When you haven't done any of that, you don't have any sweat equity. You don't have any reason for people to go, well, you know what? He did win a Super Bowl before, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, that's what I think what happened in this case.
Yeah, so I don't have a lot different viewpoint, except for I will say this. So Jeff Ulbrich, who is now the interim head coach, I will add to this for me, Rob. I think this was a move of preserving his job. I think it was hey, I'm an interim coach right now, which we often know that usually doesn't mean you're going to get the job, especially in a bad situation. But in order for me to try, as you mentioned, hey, he got the interim job with just enough time to maybe turn this thing around. And part of turning this around is, dang it, can we score some points? Dang it, can we start to get some offense? Because our offense is looking exactly like it did with Zach Wilson. And if you look at their numbers through the 5 games with Aaron Rodgers, they're virtually identical to those with Zach Wilson from last year. They're putting up the same number of points, 93 that with Zach, 93 with Aaron Rodgers, and almost the same number of yards per game at 284 with Zach, and then 287 with Rodgers. So the offense is the same. And if you look at the 22 games that they had Hackett, he was 29th in points per game. So clearly he has been the common denominator through this. So I think Ulbrich is saying, in order for me to save my job and have a real chance of being the permanent head coach, I got to make some moves, whether Aaron Rodgers likes it or not, because Aaron Rodgers talked about it. He said, obviously, Hackett and I are, that's my guy, but I kind of had an inkling this might come once they made some moves. And he said, I know that Ulbrich and Hackett are cool. They have a great working relationship, but at the end of the day, I felt like something was going to be done. So despite Aaron Rodgers having a great relationship, I think Ulbrich said, hey, man, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to maybe have a P as in permanent head coaching job, and I got to do what I got to do. Hackett, you're my guy. I know you're his guy. You got to go. As far as calling, he's still on the staff. He has an undisclosed title.
No, he was
whatever
demoted.
That means.
But he was demoted. But he's still not calling plays. That's what he came here for.
Correct.
And my point is that even if you're a Hall of Fame quarterback and you're cachet and you won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, you're not going to be able to dictate everything like everybody thinks. Because if he had ultimate power, he could have said to the owner, this is what I said to you yesterday, like, oh, you're going to pout if Hackett's not the – no. You're a professional. You have your own career, your own legacy. You can't do that. If the last thing people see you do is pull some sort of shenanigans where you're not trying hard or you just tank or you play poorly because you're upset, or that will follow you. People will remember that. And that's why I didn't buy into it. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have influence, because the coach didn't call every player. You know what I mean?
You mean the owner?
The owner didn't call every player. Of course not.
I'm with you. Listen, man, you should have ownership. You, Rob Parker, you own businesses. You know, you obviously been a part of this, the Odd Couple since the start. Like, when you have equity, when you have rapport with people, when you've built up that trust, you absolutely should. And I think anybody who thinks differently is absolutely being asinine, and that's perfectly fine. And I do think that's partly why, to be honest, I think you would even maybe agree, Hackett still has a job. Because typically, if you've been this bad at something, you would get the can. But I think he's like, look, man, I know that's your guy. I've worked with him before. Let's keep him around. Obviously, we have to demote him, but he's still around. He's still a part of the team, still helping you. Because also, maybe he's better off being Aaron Rodgers' eyes, you know what I mean? Kind of helping him and practicing what he sees versus actually calling the plays right now.
Because I think he was the quarterback coach in Green Bay. Like that.
Right.
You remember, and that's what got him the job in Denver, is because people had put Aaron Rodgers out with the trash, saying he was finished, and then what did he do? He won 2 MVPs. Mm-hmm. And Hackett was the quarterback coach in Green Bay, and people are like, you know what I mean? That's the cachet that he got that got him his head coaching job. Now, I don't think he'll ever get another one. He was so bad.
Yeah, he was bad. I mean, you can't look
He lasted 1 year. You know what I'm talking about?
1 year there, you come to the Jets, you get Aaron Rodgers back, and he looks bad as Zach Wilson. You got him looking bad. But I think that was I'll do you a solid, Aaron. I'll do you a favor, and I'll keep him around, as opposed to most guys in this situation, Rob, you know, they're going to get the full can. Adios,
well, they got to pay him anyway. So, I mean, whether he was there or not, and I think.
But I mean, the respect of still being on the team, you still being a part of it, still more so less Hackett, more Aaron. I'm going to keep your guy around. Because we all, you know who I'm talking. Look, you have plenty of mentees, and there's some I know you probably, you know, like this, he's helped me with this. He's good to have around for that. Help me with MLB Bro. Like, we all have people around us who help you feel better when they're around. They help, you know what I mean? And I think that was I'll do you a solid, Aaron. I'll keep him around in the building.
All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. And really, how surprised are you that Nathaniel Hackett, as I nicknamed him his first year, Nathaniel Hackett got demoted? Like, does that change your mind a little bit about the whole way that the Saleh thing played out? Because I think the scenario and narrative was that Aaron dug in and said, no, you got to keep my guy and get rid of Saleh because he was going to demote him. That was the storyline yesterday. Or do you just look at this as business as usual? Because normally when things aren't working out, these moves are made. And how much power really does Aaron? If Aaron had ultimate power, I don't think Hackett would have been demoted. If he really made the case that it's not Hackett's fault, it's my fault, or you know what I mean? He could have made that case to the owner that it's not I just haven't played well, the plays are fine or whatever. But obviously the ownership and the new coach said, no, we're going to make a change, and he has to live with it.
I just think you're under a little more power in Ulbricht's wanting to change things up. I still think Aaron wanted it his way, but I give credit to Ulbricht saying, nah, man, I think this is what's best.
I don't think an interim coach, I mean, I think this is ownership as well. An interim coach, because he's not guaranteed to be the coach next year. You know that.
And I think that's why he's fighting for his job. Like, I'll do whatever
I just don't
it takes.
think he has that much power. He's got to get the blessing from the owner. He can't come in and clean house with everybody, because if that was the case, it would have been more moves. What's the glaring problem with the Jets is their offense, and that had to change.